Hey, what is up, everyone? So, recently we just had the Legends Unleashed event in Sea of Thieves, and at the time of recording this video, it's wrapping up. It's in its last few days. So, I thought it'd be a good time to go ahead and talk about the event and talk about why I think it might just be the best event they've done in a long time. Probably since the Reapers versus the World. I think this event was really well done. However, I do think there was areas for improvement, and we will get into that later on in the video. So first, let's do a quick little summary of what this event actually is. It's a 2 week long event, which basically the Athena's Fortune, the Pirate Legends, are basically striking out into the Sea of Thieves world in kind of retaliation against the Reaper's Bones expansion with Season 16. And then the following week, the second part of the event, deals with the Reaper's Bones striking back. So with this event, we got the new addition of shorter Athena's Fortune voyages, which I think is fine. I don't really think it was that necessary to change. It's basically just taking the regular Athena's Fortune voyage and breaking it up into the separate parts and letting you do those as just individual voyages, which is nice, but nothing too spectacular. But I think it's a nice thing to go along with this event. That's a permanent addition, something that's actually going to stay around after the event's over. It also brought with it letters of recommendation from Lorena, which is also a new permanent addition to the game, which I always thought was kind of weird because I thought that was something that you wanted to make people grind for. But I guess with the expanded levels from Season 11, they don't really care as much to let people have a way to buy levels now. So maybe we'll see one for Reaper's Bones and stuff in the future, who knows. But I thought that was a kind of an odd change when I saw that happen during the patch notes. But overall, I think those are interesting changes, and it's nice to have stuff that's both just for the event as well as things that are going to be permanent after the event. But in terms of what was specific to this event, we had the return of the legendary message in the bottles. I really like these bottle voyages because typically whenever I see a message in the bottle voyage, I never go out of my way to do them because they usually don't add up to anything that valuable. Unless I'm already on the island that the bottle message is for, then there's really no reason for me to go out of my way to do it because oftentimes it's stuff like a storage crate and things like that. With the legendary message in the bottle voyages, though, that's a little bit different. It's a lot more valuable to do. I don't know if it's as valuable to go out of your way if you are, starting fresh. It might be better just to go ahead and start a voyage to do something else. But I like it a little bit better. It's a little bit more incentivizing to go and do those as opposed to the original message in the bottle voyages. So I think that's nice to have them return. I liked them originally when they came out, and then I like them again now. Any treasure sold to Athena's Fortune was also offering double the usual gold and reputation for handing them in, which that was really nice because you can combine that with the emissary for Athena's Fortune. And then as well, during week 2 of the event, the Reaper's Bones also was offering double gold and reputation for Athena's Fortune treasure delivered to them. And then they were also giving out 10 times payout for Athena's Fortune emissary flags, which I was kind of surprised by that. I was not able to find anyone with an Athena's Fortune emissary flag. I saw it on the map table that there were lots of people with Athena emissaries out and doing voyages and stuff, but I just could never find anyone during this event to sink them and steal their flag. I don't know. Maybe other people got it. It would have been nice to be able to get that 10 times payout, but I'm okay with not having been able to do that part of the event. With this event, they also had the return of the Ashen Mega Stashes. That was an event that they had a little while back, where basically there was I think it was like a 50-50 chance of doing a skeleton for it, and that would end up having the Ashen Chest of Legends, basically a huge hole of them inside the vault. We'll get more into that in a little bit, but I like that brought back for this event. And then finally, we also got 3 Athena's Fortune Gilded Voyages that you can complete throughout the event anytime you want. All of that I think was really great, and then to kind of put a nice bow on it, we got 2 trinkets that are limited time for this event, and one of them is for Athena's Fortune, so if you did, I think it was 3 Legend Message in the Bottle Voyages and you completed them, you got the Victory to the Fortunate trinket, and then if you sold about, I think, 3 Athena's Fortune treasures to the Reaper's Hideout, you'd get the Victory to the Flame trinket. I know people don't really like trinkets too much as rewards, they're kind of getting tired of them and want something else. But I think if we're talking about stuff that is exclusive and limited time just to like a 2 week event, it makes sense to have them be a trinket. I really like how these trinkets turned out. I think they look really nice, and I'm pretty happy with the rewards for this. So why do I think this event is the best event that we've had in a long time? I think there's a lot of things that were done right with this event. For one, I think the length helped a lot. It wasn't just like a weekend long event, it wasn't even just a week, it was 2 weeks long. Lots of time to enjoy and have fun with this. You didn't feel like you had to spend all day playing the game to be able to take part in the event. You could kind of spread out your play time. So if you wanted to do a couple hours one day and then maybe a couple days later you do a couple more hours, you didn't feel like you were pressured to have to spend all your time in a few couple days to participate in the event. So I really like that aspect, and I think it made me enjoy the event a lot more. I also appreciate that the trinkets that you could get for this event, well, not only actually looking good, I actually think they are really nice looking trinkets. They weren't too difficult to get. So it wasn't something like where you had to sync several Athena's Fortune emissaries or you had to sync several Reaper's Bones emissaries. It was just as simple as complete 3 of the bottle message voyages or turn in 3 Athena's Fortune treasures to the Reaper's Bones. Both of those are very easy to complete. If anyone said that they couldn't do that or they found it too difficult to do, then I really don't know what your problem is. I think it was very easy to get done. The only thing that you could say was a little bit hard is sometimes finding the legendary message in the bottle voyages. That's something I've had problems with in the past events, but with this event, I felt like they were a lot more plentiful, and I found them all over the place whenever I was sailing around. So that didn't really end up being too much of an issue for me as well with this event. Honestly, I think one of the biggest parts of enjoying this event was just kind of the dopamine hit that you get from seeing such high value numbers as you're selling and turning in treasure to either Reaper's Hideout or to the Athena's Fortune. I mostly just stuck to turning in treasure to Athena's Fortune, but it was just, jaw dropping seeing how much I was making just from the 2.5 multiplier from the emissary flag as well as the 2 times multiplier for the event. I was really excited about that. I think I went up like 50 Athena's Fortune levels, which to me was mind blowing because I'm not really someone that grinds the game much. So to see my, repetition go up so quickly was really shocking to me. And I think the other thing that really made this event work really well and why I really loved it is because it brought a bunch of different things together to make one really great package. So we've seen stuff like the Mega Stashes event happen in the past where that was the event itself. There wasn't really anything else going on along with it. It was just the Mega Stashes on its own. Or you had stuff like the Legendary Message in the Bottles that would return, but there wasn't really much else going on outside of that. This event brings all of those things together. It adds the Goated Voyages in as well, kind of bringing back what we used to have, say, with the Christmas time updates. I think all of that together made it so that you weren't really locked into one type of gameplay. You could do a message in the bottle voyage, and then you could go do your Gilded Voyage. Maybe you do them at the same time. I was doing a ton of skeleton forts doing the mega stashes, and I was getting tons of Ash and Athena chests, and that was really exciting to do. So I think that aspect of bringing a lot of these different old mechanics back for this one event really worked out well in its favor. And then finally, I think it just encouraged people to go back and do the skeleton forts. There was a lot more people doing them as I could see. I was stealing a bunch of them. That was a lot of fun. I think just having more treasure out in the game that, people are doing a lot of these Athena's Fortune, Gilded Voyages and stuff is also exciting. It makes it so that it's an exciting time to go and look for people. Usually people had treasure on them right now during this event as opposed to outside of this event where people might only have like one chest on them. So there was a lot of reasons to have a lot of fun with this event, whether you're someone that only likes PvE and you just want to, go on voyages and do that kind of stuff, or if you're on the PvP side. I think both sides could have had a lot of fun with this event. But now we get to the flip side of this, and despite everything I just said, I really do love this event. I had a great time doing it. Part of me thought in the back of my mind, is it a good idea to do some of this stuff? So I was thinking about the Mega Stashes event, and I think I maybe had done 5 or 6 skeleton forts, and I would say about like 4 of them at least had the Mega Stashes in them, and the other 2 were just regular skeleton forts. I was thinking to myself when I was looking at that big hole of Ash and Chest of Legends, does this devalue the Chest of Legends and how exciting it used to be to get a Chest of Legends? So I was actually, at the same time as doing this event, I've been going back through some of my old gameplay footage and, kind of cutting it up, editing it so that it's ready for B-roll for future videos. And I was looking at a few of the ones from the past where either it's at the Fort of the Dam or maybe it's Fort of Fortune or something like that. And I'm seeing like us going through and getting super excited to steal just one chest of legends, and how exciting that would be every time that we did it, either at the Fort of the Dam or whatever. And I just feel like now that I've seen, being able to get a huge amount of chest of legends all at once for something that's not too difficult to do. The skeleton forts are one of the easier things in the game as opposed to stuff like the Fort of the Dam and even the Fort of Fortune and stuff like that. So for me, it kind of made me look back at that old footage and just kind of think, oh, well, that doesn't really feel as impressive anymore. It's not as impressive as having a whole ship deck covered in Ashen Chest of Legends. Even though they're completely different experiences, we had to fight way harder to get that one Chest of Legends before. We didn't really have to fight too hard, oftentimes didn't have any competition to get these Ashen Chest of Legends. So technically the other one's more impressive, but really when you're looking at the treasure they're getting, it just doesn't really feel that way anymore. So I kind of wondered to myself during this event, do these type of events, having stuff where it's like you have big multipliers, you have, big treasure holes and stuff like that, does that devalue having the treasure normally in the game and what it used to represent? This has been an ongoing problem with events in Sea of Thieves. We saw it, I think, with one of the community weekends when they had the pop-up plunder, and one of the big selling features of that community weekend was that they had the box of wondrous secrets that you could get from pop-up plunder. So that used to be something that was like extremely rare. I think it was the rarest treasure item in the game, and it was only locked to the Devil's Roar at the time. But then they have this community weekend event where they advertise that anyone can go get it on every server basically, and it could be found anywhere in the world. It wasn't just limited to the Devil's Roar anymore. It kind of loses a lot of what made it special and why people coveted it so much. So I feel the same way with the Chest of Legends for this event, and even when they had the Mega Stashes in the past. I also think that, me going up 50 levels from this event, and I wouldn't really say I was grinding too much. I'd probably say I would grind a little bit more than I typically do. I was doing the Gilded Voyages. I think I did at least 2 of the Gilded Voyages that we got, and then I did a couple of the Mega Stashes from the Skeleton Forts, and then, like a couple of Athena Sea Forts and stuff like that. I wouldn't say I was grinding like a ton during this event, but I still went up like 50 levels from it. And it kind of makes me think, does that devalue my progression in the game too? Because not only after you get past level 100 for any of the trading companies, it already doesn't really feel like you're progressing too much, because kind of just like bonus at that point. I mean, you get the rings every 100 levels after that point, but really there's not much going on after you get past level 100. So it kind of feels like the progression doesn't really matter at all anyways. So then if you're going so quickly through the progression that, I was going up like 5 or 10 levels every time I sold, it just doesn't really feel like, those levels really mattered in the first place. Maybe I'm in the minority of that opinion. I'm not saying that I didn't have fun during the event, but I kind of just try to think about the game long term rather than just in the short term. Because in the short term, the dopamine hit that you're getting from, going up a ton of levels, selling and making a ton of gold, seeing this huge haul of treasure, all of that's super exciting. But after the event's over and the hype's died down, what do you have left after that? It's kind of like Sea of Thieves inflation in that way. A chest of legends in the past used to be an amazing thing and very coveted, and everyone was trying to get it. As time went on, not only did we have these events that devalued the perceived value of that treasure, but then we also had newer treasures getting added to the game, like the Chest of Fortune or the Reaper's Bounty and stuff like that, that were technically more valuable than the Chest of Legends. So all that to say, wow, I really did have a ton of fun during this event. I think there's a lot of things that they did right about it in terms of, making it a 2-week long event, having some decent rewards that were easy to unlock, and bringing back a lot of different features so that it wasn't just one thing that you're doing, but it was a whole bunch of things all related to a specific theme. I think all of that was really great, but looking long term, what are the effects of these kind of additions to the game? One other thing that I did want to talk about with this event though is that I did find it weird the timing of the event. I feel like the event would have made a lot more sense if it was a week earlier. So that way, the Reaper portion of the event would have coincided with the release of the final update for the season, where we got a new Reaper voyage. Because it kind of felt weird that the event started the same day we got a new Reaper voyage. So you're kind of going into the game and you're going to go do Athena's Fortune because you wanted to participate in the event and there's these boosted rewards and everything. But then you also have this new Reaper voyage that you're like, well, I guess I'm not really going to go play that because I have all these Athena things to do. So I feel like if they did it a week before, where there really wasn't anything going on with the game, a week prior to the update, that would have been a little bit better. And then I think for the second part of the event, where the Reapers strike back, make it so that there's just boosted Reapers rewards in general. And then I think that would encourage people to do the new voyage, maybe even do the past Reaper voyage. Maybe instead of doing all Reaper treasure being boosted, maybe only make it so that treasure from the Reaper's Bones, like from the 2 voyages, maybe that's the only thing that's boosted 2 times for reputation and gold. And I think if you did that, you would have seen more Reaper emissaries on the servers as well as more Athena emissaries, and then those would have kind of bounced out, and it would have kind of gone more with the theme of, a battle between Reaper's Bones and Athena's Fortune. That was the only thing that I was thinking about during the event. I feel like it would have made a little bit more sense to have the event a week early, and then have the Reapers be a little bit more of a presence during the event, kind of coinciding with their final update for the season. But those are all my thoughts for this Legends Unleashed event. Overall, I think it was a really great event. I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about this event? Do you agree with me about being a little bit concerned about the devaluing of certain aspects of the game with events like this? Or are you happy with these events always happening often? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, but if you enjoyed this video, it'd be great if you left a like and subscribed. And until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all later. Bye y'all.